2025 going the way you want it to go? Well, I would say it's too late, but you should have started a long time ago. Right? But still, Happy New Year. Good evening, Josh. Good evening, Petite Beyout. Well, please, once you join in, please mute your mic rather. We'll be starting. We don't have too much time. I'll be spending at least 1 hour on this call, on this meet, right? And I'm just going to be talking about how we can make our 2025 the year that we always dreamed it to be. There is really no two ways about it. If you don't plan or prepare for something, you're going to abuse it. And many of us throughout our 2024, we're not intentional about the things we did. We kind of floated through 2024 and we left things in the hand of chance, right? And that is not a good way to do things if you are looking to make impact or grow or increase or be profitable. One of the things I learned early, right? I would say early because of the kind of setup I grew up in, but I only implemented it very late, is by actually taking stock of your year, the previous year, and then looking on how you can push it a bit further than what you did last year. So that means you have to be very, very intentional and see things the way they are, right? So, hey, the question is, how can I make the most of my 2025 as a designer, right? And I want to believe many of us here are designers. And the first thing, personally, right, I said I'll be sharing my own insight, right? But personally, I am the very first, and I don't know how many of us here are Christians, but the very first is God. Scripture says, make sure you put God first. Matthew 6:33 says, seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and every other thing shall be added unto you. So, well, if you're a Christian here, God has to come first, and that starts by actually building a very strong relationship with him. Now, the reason why I said it, and if you're not a Christian, please, you're welcome to be a Christian. You're welcome to being a follower of Jesus Christ, because in my journey as a creative, the Holy Spirit has played a very, very crucial part, and many of us here can attest to that, right? There are projects that I have conducted as passion projects, but they are a product of a revelation, right, or a nudging of the Holy Spirit, and I just simply get on my PC and then do it. And it also comes into a very conscious mindset where you are constantly looking for his voice and how he wants to speak to you concerning a project. I know there are times that I have hit roadblocks in my projects, right, and I can't seem to be able to get past certain places, and sometimes I take a break, which is good even if you're not a Christian. But there are times the Holy Spirit will be like, okay, visit this site. It will drop it in my mind, or it will drop something that I have not even seemed to conceive about that project, and it pushes me past the roadblock. So pray, study, and then listen. So that's the first and major one. But hey, talking to the designers, right? That was targeted at Christian designers. So everybody here, I want to believe, is a designer, whether you are a graphic designer, brand identity designer, or you are a UI UX designer, or whatever form of design you're doing, and you are on this call this evening. There is something I want to. It's an acronym, right? So it's VAR. Now, for those of us that are familiar with the Premier League or football in general, there's what we call the VAR, and it's Video Assistant Referee. And the thing about the VAR is it helps you analyze a previous event, and then look to make a decision on the event, right? The referee basically will look if it was a goal or there has been a foul that requires a red card and all that. So, but VAR means virtual assistant referee, right? But that's not what we're talking about today. We're talking about 3 major core essence to being a successful designer in 2025. That is vision, action, and reaction, right? So this is not a tutorial. This is a conversation I want to have with designers, especially in my community. Now, if you're not part of my community, you may not really understand what's going on. But last year I didn't have many of these. I think I had only about 3. But this year I'm looking to make sure I am as consistent in helping as many designers actively as I could. I only did it passively, like when questions are dropped in the community and I answer, or somebody asks a very cogent question and I drop a voice note, a series of voice notes. Apart from that, this is me coming to share with you some of the things I've gathered. So the first one is vision, right? And vision is if somebody mentions this vision in your mind, the first word that comes is usually something you can see futuristically. That's vision, right? And for those that do not imagine it like that, vision is usually just, I want to see, and that's it, right? So for those of us that are familiar with Apple products, vision something, right? The Oculus and all that. So it's all around vision. And seeing is a crucial part of designing, right? But beyond your canvas, you need to see design for what it really is. It's a channel. It's as an avenue. Sometimes it's even a way of escape, right, from the troubles of life. For sometimes with clients, it can become your trouble. So you have to see beyond design. And seeing beyond design entails picturing yourself as an embodiment of the design nature. Well, again, in case you don't understand what I mean, I will break it down. So you must first of all have a vision for yourself and a vision for your brand. If somebody was to ask you on the 31st of December, right, 2024, and he says, hey, what is the one thing that you want to achieve in 2025? Many of us will say, I want to have plenty clients, right? Another will say, I want to have plenty money. People want to, there's always that foresight, right? And there's another thing, another person will say, hey, look, I just want to increase, I just want to have a very, very mint portfolio, right? Now, all these are intertwined, right? Some way, somehow. But at the end of the day, we all know why we are designing. Me, personally, I know why I'm designing. Two reasons. I design because it's a gift, and I think I owe it to God to utilize that gift. And 2, so that I can make some money, right? And so back to vision, right? So that I don't digress. So you must have a vision. You must have a clear identity or clear scope of what you are trying to achieve. Hi, good evening. Welcome, Charlie. So what is vision, right? Vision is the ability to imagine a desired future state and articulate a clear, compelling picture of what that future could look like. So, hey, as a designer, I know we all have that, is it desire to make money, to be this kind of designer, to create crazy design projects. But realistically, have you articulated it? Do you have a clear picture of, okay, look, by the end of 2025, I want to have 10 good projects in my portfolio, have at least 2 clients that I have charged over $1 million, and, well, be more interactive on social media. Now, that is how to achieve a vision. Like I said, many of us have that, is already there. We are seeing things in our mind's eyes, right? But we've not even articulated it. So all those 3 things I listed at the end of the day make up what? The designer of our dreams, right? So I want to be a prolific, productive designer. Now, vision is important. Why? Because without vision, you wouldn't have direction. Without vision, you won't have direction. Now, it's important to understand that in companies, they always have a vision and a mission. So you as a designer, I'm going to talk about personal branding and all that, but you as a designer, a brand, and your brand is whatever you make it to be, whether you are silent about it or you talk about it. Now, the important thing to note is, as designers, right, our capacity to coin out a worthwhile vision, which is usually a why, right? Why do I do this, right? It's going to help in our execution and in the things we do. So we are going to go to A, action. So if you have a vision, right, and your vision for 2024 as a designer is create better looking projects, have better clientele, and have, make more money, your action will be resonated around all of this. Now, taking action. So if you as a designer here have not set out goals for the year, do this, right? It's important to do this. So don't leave it to your imagination. Take a pen, take a paper, take a phone, take whatever it is. Sit down with yourself and write these things down. So I'm a designer, I'm a flyer designer. By the end of 2024, I want to be a flyer designer, a poster designer, and a brand designer. Right? Write that down. Then write a series of those goals, right? And then ask yourself, why am I doing all this? Is it just because I'm a designer? Or because I think my design skill is profitable for solutions? Now, it's important to understand that action is surrounded by solutions. So any vision, right, is yamak to providing the solution. So if I have a vision for reaching, for example, I wanted to travel and I want to reach Abuja, right? I need something to take me there, right? And what I'm going to do in Abuja is important, which is why I have a vision to go there, right? And it has to be profitable. It has to make an impact to me personally, or it has to be an opportunity. So your vision has to now require action, which is book a ride, pack your bags, and all that. So as a designer, if you want to maximize 2025, have set goals, ask yourself why. Personally, why am I doing what I'm doing? I can just sit back and have clients, right? But there's one thing I discovered is that money always follows passion. Money always follows solution. Money always follows value. Now, value is just a summary of those two things. So as a person of value, if you can provide value, any type of value, somebody will pay for it. So you are a designer, I design flyers, I design this. If you are not providing value, and what is value? Value is anything of substance, right? Value is anything that can solve a problem. Value can be even what you say, right? So in 2025, as a designer, value includes investing in your skill. So this brings me to the point action, right? So how many of us in 2025 are a desire to increase our skill sets? So like I said earlier, your vision is I want to be this. I want to be like people have said this. Sorry for using this example. I want to be like Dexios. I want to be making money. Hello, you don't even know if I make money or not. But don't look from the outside in. And even if you have that desire, there are things I do. Are you doing them, right? Are you constantly trying to push yourself to be a better designer? Are you seeking to give value back to people, right? Are you creating for purpose? Because me personally, one of my visions, right, is to be the designer God wants, right? To be a God kind of designer. And that means I am using design as an avenue to accomplish purpose, because I know that's what God gave me, right? So your why can vary, right? The goal is to know it and then build the vision around it. No, scripture says write the vision down, make it plain, right? So that those that see it will run with it. If you don't write your vision down, you won't even see it to run with it, right? So again, action. So expand your skill sets, right? You want to be not just a graphic designer, but a poster designer, movie posters, right? Or a brand identity designer. Expand your skill sets. Master new tools. Many of us are Canva designers. There was a conversation on Twitter and they were dragging Canva designers, and people were like, no, I can use Canva to create whatever Photoshop can create. And we said, look, I personally said, yes, you can. right? To a certain extent. There are certain things Photoshop will do. Canva can never. Sorry if you are a Canva designer here and you have this beef. Can never. Please, if you are following me, interact in the chat, right? If you find something I said interesting, just drop it in the chat, in the group. Look, Canva designers are great. I've seen people do marvelous works with Canva designer, but at the end of the day, right, is either there are standards, right? So are you seeking to improve your standards? Because it gets to a point, every software has its ceiling. Even Photoshop has its ceiling. There are certain things that you will not have to Canva can never. There are certain things you will not have to use Cinema 4D for Photoshop, right? You're working with Photoshop, so Canva can incorporate other softwares and Photoshop do the same, right? You cannot use Photoshop in isolation. It's one thing I discovered quite early, right? So as a designer, right, I was working for an agency, and in that agency I needed to create certain things on the go. I used Canva, right? I used Canva to create them, even motion, right? And it was a makeshift solution. But there are also companies you will work for, you dare not use Canva. You cannot use Canva. It cannot produce what they are looking for, right? So you have to use it in collaboration with other softwares, and you can only collaborate with that software if you know it, right? So master new design tools. Figma is there. Figma is now like the okapatapata of, it can do a lot of things, right? But it's mainly used for web and UI UX and all that, but you can do things on Figma, right? So learn new tools, expand your skill set, incorporate AI. Now in 2025, AI is going to become a massive part of any industry. In fact, 2024 was already, I've seen it firsthand, I've used it firsthand. Incorporate AI into your design. If you are not using AI at this moment, my dear, you are going to be left behind badly, like mercilessly. AI will not even have mercy on you. Other designers that use AI will overtake you. Use AI, use Midjourney, use Adobe Firefly, use ChatGPT and the rest, right? Make research into them. Now, I'm not asking you to just go over and beyond and just start using AI everywhere and anyhow, right? I don't even do all that. I use specifically ChatGPT and then Gemini, and then also image effects, right? I recently did a tutorial on that. I could only do that tutorial because I personally even found out and just explored it. Not many people knew. I posted it on Twitter. Not many people knew you could create mockups with image effects, and they knew image effects. So you have to constantly push yourself. It's the only way, right? Expand your skill set and expand your mind. Don't be closed-minded, right? There are many designers that are closed-minded. How will I describe closed-mindedness in design? It's like, I must get it like this. If it's not like this, I've not achieved the solution. Look, there's something I discovered very early in my design career, right? Please mute your mic. All right. I've seen many people use something I want to say. Sorry, earlier in my career, right? I discovered that you can achieve the same solution, the same outcome with a different method. Like, I personally discovered new methods to do things, and it helped my design skill because once I discovered something that wasn't taught to me, it sticks in my brain more than somebody teaching me something, right? It's like I discovered this thing, so therefore I can remember how to go about it. And early in my design career, it was one of the things that helped me greatly, right? I just knew that if I can achieve the same look, forget about how I did it. I just did it. The fact is, did I do it or not? I did it. So you can't complain, right? So be open-minded, see things from different angles, deepen your technical skills, right? Go into research, find out the basics of design. I had to learn the basics of design after I started designing. I had to learn alignment, I had to learn this, I had to learn color theory, long after I started designing, right? And why? Because I discovered that if you implement these things, they actually work. Then before you can now create exceptional designs, is you must have known the rules and then break the rules before you can break the rules. All right, so in 2025, right, expand your skill set, expand your mind. That is how you take action to fulfill whatever vision you may have for your brand, right? Another thing is you can expand your niche, right? I was a flyer designer first, poster designer second, movie posters, right? Any type of poster basically. Then I became a logo designer and then a brand identity designer. Now I'm a brand identity strategist and a designer. Then we are going to be going like that, right? I also delved into motion design, and then, but not many people will know all those parts of you. However, it's crucial. Why? You never know how that will impact your design eyes. Hey, please mute your mic. Thank you. You'll never know how that will impact how you see design, right? And it was incredible when I began to apply motion design to brand identity. I was like, bro, the possibilities are endless, right? So do that. And then, like I said, niche. So I just developed a lot of niches, and then you can now stabilize in one, but then all those niches are not lost. I still did poster design. Many people don't know I do poster designs, and I posted it on Twitter, and they were like, bro, I've never seen you do posters, and these are good, right? I didn't even think they were that good. Right? But I made sure I was known for something. So that's one thing you need to do in 2025. You can do a lot of things, but try and build a niche that feels like this is your ultimate skill, right? Like if they wake you from sleep, design a logo. You can design a logo and then make people know you for that. So how do you do that? Build a personal brand. So after you have expanded your skill set and done all that, it is useless if people cannot see you. Somebody said, a quote was made. He said, it's not about who is the most skillful. If the most skillful is quiet, the one that is not skillful but noisy will get all the money. Alright, so many of you can even design more than me, but I am not quiet. I'm a very quiet person. Maybe you can even see it on my face. I look like a very chill. I'm just a chill guy, right? But if you are not loud, if you are not constantly putting yourself out there, bruh, you wouldn't make the kind of impact that you're supposed to make in your own life and in the life of potential clients, right? So talk about your skill, talk about how you think, talk about projects that you worked on, right? And in January, I will be doing a consistency challenge. I just want to put that out there, right? I'm going to really be kind of hands-on with my community. So, hey, please, my community, I apologize last year. I didn't really do much, right? But I've seen people thank me for whatever it is I did, and I'm grateful that you are grateful, right? But we're going to be having a consistency challenge for 2 weeks, and we're going to kind of fortify our portfolios. Brand designers, I will try and do for poster designers and graphic designers, right? So it's going to be like a collaborative effort where we will build one coherent brand case study that you can brandish anywhere. Now that is for the people that started designing as brand identity designers and poster design, whatever your field is. You see, it's going to help you develop your skill, see challenges in your skill, and then improve on them. So keep that in mind. It's going to start maybe next week or next 2 weeks, right? But that's by the way, right? The core of what I'm trying to say is, if you are not known for something, right, you would not be hired for anything. Let me put it like that. So you have to be loud about it. Put yourself out there. Talk about, there's something I wanted to mention about the consistency challenge. You're going to be documenting your journey throughout that 2 weeks. So it's going to help you build social media presence, especially on Twitter and Instagram, and whatever platform you're on, right? Facebook and however. The goal is you're going to get people to see you. That's the goal. You have to be seen. Right, there is a project, there's a gig I got last year. I finished the year stronger than I've ever finished any year before. Talking about 6 figures, right? So let's not go there. But it came as a result of me being unapologetic. Yes, you'll get the session. I am recording it. So it's about being unapologetic about who you are. So a huge part of personal branding is being yourself to the core, right? Like being you. What do I mean by being you? So whatever your interests are, especially on Twitter, even on Instagram, be who you are, right? And I say this because I discovered it very late in my own journey. But last year I made sure my Twitter I talked about anything and everything, and there's something you need to realize. In 2025, you are not useless, right? You're not even if your skill level is not high enough, you have to realize that your voice too can be heard. I don't know if anybody needs to hear this. You are not supposed to be shut up, or you're not supposed to shut yourself up. Say it the way you understand it. And if you are corrected, embrace it. So embrace the possibility of being wrong, but know that you can improve, you can grow, right? And that's it, having a growth mindset. If you don't have a growth mindset, it will be difficult for you to really, really improve, right? So put yourself out there, right? Talk about food if you like food. Right? And design a lot of food related things, bruv. One of the ways I gained some sights in the eyes of the public, right, I designed everything God. I know saying you. Right? Because I'm passionate about it, right? And I developed challenges from my desire and my passion, right? So do the same in 2025. Put yourself out there, right? I know there's this imposter syndrome, right? There's what we call imposter syndrome, but we don't really have imposter syndrome. We're just afraid. You're afraid of the unknown. I know what imposter means, right? It means that you're not who you are. So if you are who you are, imposter syndrome will see you and be running. Now I know it's a real thing. People feel like they are frauds and all that, but speak it the way it is. You'll be fine. Alright? And then take correction. Say it with the mind of, okay, look, I may be wrong, but this is what I think. Right? And people can agree and disagree. It's life. So collaborate with your friends, with individuals, collaborate with people, with clients. Now there's something I did right early in 2021. I collaborated with my friend. Now people have thought about collaboration as collaborating with a fellow designer to work on a project. Bruh, I collaborated with my friend to develop an identity for his mom, and it was through that identity I got my first foreign client? I think it's my first foreign client, around £100 or so, and that was like 2022, 2021. So it was, I didn't see it as a collaboration then, but is my friend. He didn't have money, but he needed something for his mom. So I am a solution provider. Let me prefer solution for him, but with the mind that, look, I'm expecting something more from this, even if it's not from you, my friend. We're doing it together. You give me the name, give me all the things, and I will provide for you. But I'm going to put myself out there through this work so that I can show myself and my value, and somebody can hire me for that. So that was a very, very important thing I did, and then I discovered that it works. So I began to collaborate with myself. Now that is weird. It sounds weird, I know, but the challenges were people were organizing challenges, right? But I had to organize my own challenge, and I challenged myself and people around me. And you know the funny part, the people that joined my challenge might even be better than me at design, but we're all in the same space looking for how to express. There may be people are always afraid to post their works. I tell people, I said, look, if it's your best in that moment, post it, because there's another person that is either at that same level or even lower and is looking for something to just look forward to. Like, so this guy is not too far ahead now, and then you've inspired someone, right? So do that. collaborate with friends, collaborate with people in the group. There is no restriction. And there are strategic collaborations. You can collaborate with agencies or companies, right? So how you do that is you can just go cold DM and a CEO or do something for the brand and tag the brand, or direct message. Don't go for all these big brands. Don't go for all these big brands, right? Go for the less known brands, right? And then ask, look, okay, no, let me break it down for you. So what you do is you have to look for a problem. You are trying to provide a solution. So look for a problem. Tell them, look, I looked at your logo or your posters, and I can guarantee you that I will create 2 posters for you, and they are going to help elevate the entire your brand communication or your brand system, because I see that is that your communication is not clear, or the structuring does not help clients see you, right? Or your logo is this, or whatever it is, right? And then offer a solution for free if you are beginning. But if you are experienced, you can also offer a paid solution and tell them, look, if you like it, you pay for it. Don't send them the files or whatever, just show them a draft and put your watermark and everything on it, and then from there you move, right? And that's how you can get collaborations with brands and agencies. Another thing to do is stay inspired. And how do you stay inspired? Follow people that do what you do. Constantly challenge yourself. There's something that they say, Igbo man always says it, right? Even if I no get them, I could talk say I get them. Another person will say, and then look for how to get it, right? But another person will say, even if you don't know how to do it, say you can do it, and then look for how to do it. Now you have to find the balance, because you can want to put yourself inside problems like that. But accept challenges, even if you've not explored this direction before. Believe in yourself. There's one important thing to do as a designer: believe. I posted on Twitter, I said design involves a lot of risk taking, right? And in order for you to take risks, you must believe in your approach. And so that means you have to have a lot of self-belief. So back yourself every time. Back yourself. In 2025, back yourself. Don't shy away from anything that seems to be a challenge. Now, many people, your challenge can be putting yourself out there because you are very introverted. Look, let me tell you from me as an ex-introvert, you are not introverted. You've not seen the value of being extroverted. So you can be an hybrid, right? I'm very introverted. I hardly go out of my house. I hardly socialize. But I saw the need to be more outspoken, and I started to develop the skill to talk to people in public, develop a rapport. I learned it. It did not come to me naturally. If you met me, say 2020, although it was also part of the school I went to that helped, right? But I also had to be intentional about it, right? Around 20, let's say even 2018, people can be having this discussion, and I'll just be like, unless you ask me to speak before I speak. Now, in life and as a designer on media, nobody will ask you for your permission to speak. You've got to speak, because there are many voices that are speaking. If your voice is not inside, you are making a big mistake. Now, it took me years before I could get clients because of one thing: I didn't also speak. Now, here's the thing. Here's the funny part. Speaking does not mean talking. You have to speak. It's only you can talk and people are not listening. You speak to people, then they listen, right? I'm trying to do a nuance of words, right? But if you are on social media and you are putting yourself on Upwork, on all those sites, right? And you've not defined who you are. I'm coming to that now. That's the next thing we'll focus on. You'll just be talking to the air and nobody is really paying attention to you. So in 2025, how do you do a lot of all these things? So we've talked about your vision, we've talked about action and all that. So reaction, right? The last R. Re and action. So you have taken actions, right? But you are now it's like refiring. So you have defined your goals, you've done all that beautiful stuff. What is your value proposition? As a flyer designer, there are 150,000 flyer designers. What do you bring? What do you bring? Identify that uniqueness and then exploit it. Now, personally, what I did was it was unconscious because I just kept pushing things out, and then I discovered I had a signature feel to my design. What do I mean? So other people can design the same thing. How I design it is always very different. That's what I would say. And everybody is different, but you have to be bold in your difference. You have to know that this is you and embrace it. So in my logo design, I'm always very different in how I think about stuff. Now, a lot of people do the same things, but I have to find how I do it, and then I do it consistently. So for my clients, I engage differently. I don't know if other people do it this way, but if a client enters my DM, I'm always very particular about establishing a rapport. So, hey, talk about your problem, talk about your brand. I listen, and then I help them discover their problems so I can charge higher. Now, most people cannot charge higher because the client does not know that there's a problem with what they're asking for, right? And they do not know that your expertise is a solution to that problem. So they're like, collect 10,000, no be logo. So my value proposition is that I'm going to discover the problem for your brand, even help you create a strategy if you don't have one, help you understand where your brand is lacking currently, and then create a visual solution for those problems. Now, how did I discover that? Initially, I never understood brand design, but the more challenges I created for myself. First was the Bible character challenge. If branding is about giving identity to something that exists, it means that everything that exists and has a name can be branded. So what is my goal? My goal is to accurately represent that. So I discovered that I offer you representation in the way I know how to do it. Then I offer that representation visually, that it can be recognized by anybody and everybody. And then expression. So understand your uniqueness, right? So your own you may design posters, simple, very simple, but very effective, right? And clients are particular about numbers. So on my page, right, I discovered that the more I kept having solution-driven brand design, where there is a clear brand, a clear depiction of that brand in the visual identity, and a clear solution provided, that you can look at the brand and want to patronize the brand. So that is how clients now began to reach out to me. I was like, oh, I need something like this for my brand, and then the rest is history, right? Or it's still history in the making. So you have to discover your value, and then you have to communicate that value. Look, this is how my design improves your work. Communicate it as you are posting it. Communicate it as you are talking on your videos, or like. But in your value proposition, you must. My brother said something. He said, if you are consistent, I don't know if it's his quote, but I saw it on his status. He said consistency does not if you are consistent, you will not be afraid of time or something like that, because you will not have to change your words, right? So if you know this is your value, be consistent about that value and continue increasing it. The reason is clients will come to you for that, and you must be able to deliver on that, right? So I'm really not trying to go too deep, but you are a brand and you must represent your brand very well. Now, what makes a brand is not because I call myself Dexios Graphics, right, an Apple logo. What makes you a brand is you have a promise, right, that you can deliver on, and people see that promise and they want it, right? They want that same promise to be delivered to them. So have your own unique value proposition. Then treat design like a business. Many of us are autopiloting this design thing, right? You will suffer, and I suffered for a long time. I've been designing for years, and I didn't see the amount of impact or profit that I would have liked until I began to treat design as a business. I defined a clear goal for my brand, which means a short-term goal. For example, in 2021, which was when I really started, taking design as a business, I said I want to reach foreign clients, right? I said it to myself. Now, I didn't write it down, but there are certain things that I've already written on my heart. All right. So all this I'm saying is over my years of experience. So I said I want to reach foreign clients. So I decided to design brands for foreign clients. If you check my page, go back, my designs are always feel like foreign, because I mimicked people abroad so that I can get those clients. That was short term. Long term is I want to not just reach clients, but reach people that are in design field, right? So define it, right? Then I said I didn't have a specific figure, but right now, if I were to do what I did in 2021, I would say in 2025 I want to make at least my total revenue by July should be 1 million naira, right? So that means projects, anything that can make you money as a designer. Look at how you can achieve that target. I've already given you the principle, so set it. Ask yourself, how do I achieve it, or why am I setting this? How do I achieve it? And then begin to do all the hows. So what I did was I began to post my works, and I said I'm going to make more money this year. That's all I said. Now it's not advisable to do that, because you wouldn't know how much you're making. But make sure if you have clear direction for the amount of money you feel you want to be making, to that, right? And again, consistency is key. But the thing you need to understand is consistency is not about doing it every time, right? Consistency is about doing it every time with a purpose. So you may miss one day, you may miss 2 days, get back on it, because you know why you are doing it. There's a purpose to this thing you're doing. So it's like an encouragement to come back and do it again, because if you don't continue, that purpose will not be met, right? So every time you're coming back to your laptop, you know why you are coming back. Anytime you are coming back to your phone, you know why. I don't know if any of us here are phone designers, but you know why, right? You know why. How many number of clients would you want to work with in January? So there's July. I want to make 1 million in July. For me to make 1 million in July, I must make 3 times 6, 9. So 300, is it 300,000? No, 60. Sorry, my mathematics is not mathematics. 300. No, you must make at least 150,000 every month for 6 months. Is it 100 or 200? Okay, at least 170 thereabout. So then you ask yourself, how can I make 100 and so amount in a month? Is it through my flyer? Okay, what level is my flyer design skill, and how much can I charge for it? Can I charge higher? This next client that is coming, I will charge him higher. I'll charge him 50,000 for one social media design. look, you want to use my design to make money and make sales, right? Okay, I'm giving you a mind stuff. They're trying to hire you to design flyer to showcase their business so they can make sales. So promise them, look, my design skills, I will make you sales, but you have to pay me the amount of money. So there's one thing I did to my client. I this is something I gave to people that bought my course. Look, oh, hello, you want me to design for you, right? Okay. Now, what product do you sell? He says you sell perfume. Okay. What's the highest perfume? He says about 100,000. Okay. If from my flyer 2 people buy one perfume and 2 people buy one perfume, 100,000. That's how much you have made 200,000, right? What's your least perfume? Say 20 something thousand or something. I can't remember. So if 10 people or even one person buy that listing, 15,000 perfume, you've made profit from the design I gave you, right? So why do you want to pay me 5,000 naira for a flyer? Is it fair? He was shocked. I was like, you two, you know that now it makes sense to charge high. So promise. And the reason why I say promise, don't promise out of just desperation. You trust your design skills, right? You know the effect it can have on the audience, and your skill level requires you to charge 50,000 naira for flyer. Charge it and learn how to communicate that value, like I just showed you, right? That's pricing strategy. Also, you can set a range: 30,000, 20,000, 50,000. If you have 20,000, if you pay me 20,000, I'll give you 2 designs, 2 different samples of the same design. You charge me 50,000, I'll give you 3-4 different samples of 2 designs that you like, and then unlimited revisions. You see, then it's a psychological thing. People will tend to be like, they weigh their options. Now you can do that, or you can just be like, look, I charge 50,000 naira. Then there's something you need to do. Even if your charge is 50,000 naira, calm down. No, they talk. No, me or man, no, they run. Right? If a client enters my DM today, I want to do a project, I want to do a brand new project, I'll be like, okay. He asked me my charge. The first question is, how much do you charge? I'll be like, okay, I need to know how much, what your brand is all about and what you're seeking to create. Why? You may go and charge 300,000 naira for brand identity, and the guy wants to do Web3 type of brand identity. Bro, you have already priced yourself short. So talk about the flyer. If you're a flyer designer, I don't know how many of us here are flyer designers. Talk, okay, what's the flyer for? Oh, it's for my business. What does your business do? Right? Oh, my business is into sales of so. Okay. How many sales do you make per year? Some people may not want to reveal. But you can also go in the realm of, okay, look, what's your flyer for? Do you have a flyer in mind that you like? I want to see it. Then they will go and show you flyer that Samsung did, because his own gadget store, he's selling gadgets. You will not go and bring Samsung flyer. Samsung phone or their flyers. And you'll be like, you want this level of design, right? Okay. Your money is 150,000. Of course, that's not what Samsung is paying. But you've understood the amount of value is looking for, and then you can charge accordingly, right? And throughout that conversation, the client's mind is sort of opened to know that this guy will be 5,000 naira designer. Some of them will disappear like that. Now, there's something you also need to do. There's something a friend of mine taught me. He said, sometimes you just have to not leave any money on the table, or sometimes you don't have to let the client go with that money, even if it's 10,000 naira. The goal is to show them that, look, this is what your 10,000 naira will get you. I'm not responsible if you're not satisfied. We have agreed this is 10,000 naira worthy. Oh yeah, bring your 10,000 and I will give you. So in 2025, realize this. I'll be running up very soon. I have another meeting by 8. So understand your markets. So in your talking, in your repeating yourself, know who you are talking to. So are you talking to churches? Are you talking to churches agencies? Are you talking to personnel, business persons? Are you talking to CEOs? Are you talking who are you talking to, right? Know who you are talking to. If you know them and if you can identify them, then you'll be able to, your language will be streamlined. Also, study those that are designing around you, right? Study design is not a competition. I learned it late. I felt I don't like this. I can do this one better than this one. You will kill yourself. Realize that you can learn from anybody and everybody, right? And seek to learn, right? You're not in competition with anybody. Hey, this my guy is designing. Oh, guy, this time makes sense, right? I will teach something from it. You will not know. But it's how you can grow, right? So analyze them, analyze what they're doing. Okay, this guy, I like this thing that this guy is doing. No? Let me see how I can implement it. So go and read books too. One of the things you can do is read books. Still like an artist, design principles 101, all those books. Read them, basics stuff. Read. Now I didn't read in my own journey. It took me years. Right? One of the things I tell people, I didn't read when I started designing. I was reading theology books because I attended the seminary. I was reading theology books. I was like, oh, okay, I was just designing with the Holy Spirit. But read it accelerates your growth. You see, you cannot rush growth, but you can accelerate it, right? One of the things that my provost said when I was in school, he said, experience is a good teacher, but it's not the best teacher. The Holy Spirit is. But you can learn from experience. You can borrow experiences. So learning from experience means you experienced it and you are, this thing is not good. I must not do this. I must not do this. I must not do that. So that means don't be afraid to fail. In 2025, don't be afraid of failure. Failure is your friend. There's something my brother said yesterday. There's a meeting we're organizing by 8. He said, failure is not a person. You're not. People call people failures, but failure is not a person. It only becomes a person if you give up, right? Failure is an incident, and it's an opportunity to grow, right, or to learn from. So, that's what I personally say failure is. But my brother says failure is not a person. So you're not a failure if you fail, right? You are a failure if you stop and you don't get back up. So. But failure is an incident. Realize that failure is an incident. So you failed. Beautiful. So why did I fail? What did I do wrong? What did I do? I will not repeat all this again. So you can borrow experience. Meaning, look at me, look at any design person, and then, this is what they did. This is what they didn't do right. Okay, I will not do this. I'll do this. You don't need to experience it to learn from it. You don't need to experience it to learn from it. And I think this is the last thing I'll say. Maybe I will have another session. It's 1 hour I have to be in another meeting by 8. Optimize your workflow. Get a system, right? A system of doing things. Know what makes your work easier. Know what makes it faster. Utilize. You can make research on that. Utilize softwares to make it faster. AI and the rest, right? So optimize operations. Make sure you optimize it. Then I think the last thing that I want to say is treat your clients as partners. What that means basically is, if you look at the client as a source of money, you will most likely miss that, and I did it too. Give me money after bye bye. After the money come, bye bye. Like, you have to treat it as one of the best business policies you can have is referrals. It's the money you can get from referrals. It's not the one you get on social media. What is the statements? It's not about how much. It's not about what you know. It's about who you know. Right? Something like that. So treat them as partners. And that means you have to see them as potential partners. So it means before you take on any clients, vet them, know them, right, and build some sort of relationship with them, right? And there was, I think in November last year, I had a series of calls, discovery calls. I think I got like I did a project Ijoku, and I got sorry, pardon my Yoruba if you're Yoruba, but I got like 5-6 calls back to back for 2 weeks. Like I was meeting clients on Google Meet for 2 days, 3 days in a week, another. And a client said, I just like the way you just make me at ease. I'm like, thank you. And then he said it at the end of the call. He was like, you just made me understand everything that is about my brand. I was like, you're welcome. And that means that why? Because I'm interested in their brand. I don't take on projects that I'm not interested in your brand. If I don't think your brand is worth it, be going. The reason is, it usually either makes the whole relationship sour, or you just mess the client up, right? And it's not good. So that brings me to the end. Sorry I cannot take any questions today, or maybe I'll take 2 questions if there are questions. But that's how you can make the best of 2025. Every other thing about tutorial or teaching or that will come later, but this is to set your mind right and just put you in focus, right? If you are holding a camera, it's not in focus. Anything you snap with out of focus camera is useless. All right, so don't make sure 2025 is not useless. It's the best of your years, right? So I hope some of the things, I cannot really share everything, but I hope that some of the things I've dropped have helped or expanded your mind, or just refocused you. Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome, Emmy. You're welcome, Amara. So, any questions? Maybe 1 or 2, and then I'll have to get out of here quick. I have a meeting by 8. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're all welcome. So, any questions? Please just write your questions. Type it in the chat. I would. Hey, sorry, Diamond. I think I'll try and make it available. I guess maybe on YouTube or somewhere. I'm not sure yet, but it's recorded, and yes, I will make it available. There may be a part 2. May. I'm not sure. I have a lot of things to do, but I'll try and make another session so that maybe we can talk extensively, or we can have it interactive. I think interaction will be the next one, question and answers, right? You're welcome. So any questions at all apart from these ones I'm getting? Questions. All right, Diamond. Guys, questions. I'll be ending it very soon, so just maybe one question.
Good evening.
Hi, good evening. Sorry, who is speaking? All right. Hi, Damla. Oh, okay. Hey, big man. I didn't know you're the one speaking. All right.
Yeah, thank you so much for your time. I don't waste your time. So my question is, how to, like, when it comes to utilizing X to reach out to your audience, aside from sending code, DMs, and engaging to other people's posts, what are other means that someone can utilize, especially when you discover that you want to take design more serious?
Okay, yeah, that's X is tricky. If you are a woman here, X is almost easy, especially in the design. When I mean almost easy, it means women are not very much in the design space. So if you're a good designer and you're a woman and you post on X, people will just gravitate towards you. It may not grow exponentially, but people will like what they're seeing, especially as women are scarce in the design space. Maybe not as scarce as before, right? But how, as a designer is, again, post things, interact with things that you are passionate about. Is it football? Is it scripture? Is it this? Is it that? And post informative works. What do I mean? So how did I grow on Twitter? I joined Twitter and I left and I came back. But then I came back and I started to post my designs. Now, post designs, right? If you have good projects, post them in bits. Post the first one, quote it, right? Then quote it again. You can gain traction like that because people want to see a story. You can post a thread, so talking about how the brand, what the brand means and all that. And then you can also post your day-to-day progress. Oh, I'm working on this today, I'm working on that today. Snap your screen, whatever, record yourself. Either way, it's going to take a while to grow, but that is the best way that I personally proven that's what I did, right? But make sure you are consistent. So you can just set out time sometimes every day. Today I'm going to just post on Twitter, but be intentional about what you post and be very in-depth about it, right? Be very in-depth. I just hope that helped. I'm really running out of time. Maybe in the next session we'll talk extensively about it. Sarah's a graphic designer who wants to go into freelancing, and your main target are abroad clients. How do you identify scams? Oh, bruv. Hey. Never do work if you've not collected an upfront payment. Never. So once you get, first, how to target foreign clients. Code DMs, post on Instagram, post on Twitter, post on LinkedIn. And then make sure you are talking about your process. Foreigners don't just like what they see, they like how you accomplish it. They like, what's the process like, what's going on in this guy's mind, you understand? That's what they like. So, but then make sure you never, so to identify scams, they are always rushing you, they're always trying to make you to just, send me first, I'll send you money later. Don't do all that. It's better you let the client go, because at the end of the day you just end up losing out. So that's one of the quickest way. I have to go now. That's one of the quickest ways to identify scams. Maybe in the next session, how is you get high ticket? I will answer this question, right, with a content. I will create a content this week and I will answer it. All right, guys, thank you for joining me this evening. Hopefully we'll have another session, question and answer. So have a wonderful week. Have weekend, and then have a wonderful week next week. And I'll see you guys in the challenge. So just brace yourself, and then cheers, guys.